Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP, and today's topic illegal alien immigrant. Hid many other border breakers in Stash House. I cannot say this enough that supremacy is the most awesome mental manipulation force that has ever existed. One of the main type of things they've been doing for so long, for generations, is providing generational black pain to an overall amount of American blacks. And what makes supremacy so brilliant is that quite a number of American blacks overall don't even realize the power of supremacy and its effects upon the American blacks. And even in this topic, this is also one of those top type of strategies that they are and they will utilize to finish off even more the American blacks overall, which American blacks do not have more than half a generation to one generation left for the overall complete destruction of the overall American black culture. Let me sit there and show you something. Let me show you something. Let's count 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4, 5. About advanced 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm tired of even counting. How many times that this happens that numbers of American blacks don't even realize that this is happening? How many times numbers of American blacks that do not even realize that this is happening? And this topic and this discussion, it's going to be a real quick show. When I read about this, it was such a disgustingality of the outright disrespect to what I would see as the American black forefathers and foremothers who had to fight to be treated as citizens. And this was going on after World War I and after World War II. And when that was going on before that, after the Civil War, when American blacks were fighting after the Civil War to be treated as citizens. And then when the 13th Amendment of the Constitution came to existence, which was supposed to then free the slaves, enslaved numbers of blacks, which it did not overall. And then you had the 14th Amendment of the Constitution that was supposed to uh, give now uh, citizenship, basically, no more, no less, to American blacks. No more, no less on that. That was what the 14th Amendment is supposed to do, is finally give American blacks citizenship. No questions asked. No, are they still kind of slaves? Are they still kind of free somewhat? I don't know. And it still did not give true citizenship in the 14th Amendment. But how many border breakers, illegal immigration personnel, utilize the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, never even read it, right? But they've been told, hey, just pop out that child or two or three or four or five, and the ones you bring over here, and going through the process of however programs, but especially when they get able to pop out one, two, three more, four, whatever it is, bam, automatic citizenship. All for the black pain. And numbers of American blacks don't even realize this. What the American black forefathers and foremothers had to continue to fight for, to be treated as citizens, which is still going on after the Civil War, which is still going on into the 1900s, to the mid 1900s, to the late 1900s, to even the 21st century, still going on. American blacks are overall still having to fight to be treated as citizens. And here it is, you have border breaking illegal immigration personnel who are, let me show you what they're doing as well. When he's sitting there breaking border immigration laws and pouting their lip out and going straight to the border and saying, oh, oh, we are claiming asylum. Oh, why? Oh, because we are trying to escape violence. We're in fear of our lives. This is what they're doing. Because then the next day, oh, oh, well, oh, uh, well, enforcement people, uh, 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 border personnel, we surrender here. What's going on? Oh, we are claiming asylum. Why? Oh, because we are escaping our countries that there's violence and we're scared for our lives and our family. All right. Well, here paperwork, whatever it is, report back, and however numbers don't even report back. That's a fact. And then the next day, oh, it's the same thing, right? The same thing, the same game, the same mental manipulation tactic, the same thing, right? And people, and especially numbers of American blacks, don't even realize this is a catastrophic mental manipulation game. That's an insult. See, it's not about an individual of a black American black, an individual American black. That's irrelevant in the system supremacy. It is illogical and it's irrelevant. Who cares in the system supremacy? It's not about an individual who's doing decently okay. It is about a collective. He should be. It's so silly that unfortunately there is certain numbers of American blacks don't even realize it's not about individual success. It is a collective success that gets people's attention. And it's too many internal problems that's going on with American blacks overall, which again is an insult to the forefathers and foremothers, even the ones that are still alive that's up there in age bracket where they saw formal segregation. Formal. Themselves are family members that they've known that got lynched. Formal racial racism terrorists to them directly. The ones that are still alive right now. And you got border breaking illegal immigration personnel that are breaking border immigration laws every day. And again, they're doing this. for the American blacks that have no clue overall, with few exceptions, of how this does affect a collective amount of American blacks, one way or another. Let me sit there and show you something before we get to the topic. Let me sit there and show you something. Okay, give me 1 sec. Let me show you something.
We remain a hunted people. Now you think you have a destiny to fulfill in this land that historically has been ours for 40,000 years. And we're a new mestizo nation. This is our homeland. We cannot, we will not, and we must not be made illegal in our own homeland. We are not immigrants that came from another country to another country. We are migrants free to travel the length and breadth of the Americas because we belong here. We are millions. We just have to survive. We have an aging white America. They are not making babies. They're dying. It's a matter of time.
How many numbers of same people want to be like people, numbers of person that within Padambe's culture? And you hear what that person said, it's just a matter of basically time. This was several years ago in this video. It's called Atslon, which means basically the taking over in an indirect way by personnel who think that this is supposed to be their some kind of original homeland. When you got personnel who know they are Johnny come latelys too, and Susan come latelys. And I don't want to go on all that topic in itself, but I got why they're doing it. See, the last great civilization was not Mexican. You got cultures didn't even know what the heck was a Mexican was, didn't even care what the word Mexican was. The last great civilization was the Aztecs. They were the last great civilization. Aztecs are not Mexicans. They're not. And I will make this point when I say that word, even though the thing about it, you get some people that get mad when you say Mexican. You say, wait a minute. So you got Mexican flags all over on people's trucks. You got Mexican flags on some people's houses. But watch this. But watch this. American blacks, you can't really say anything about say Mexican. What? But how many Mexicans can sit there and say the N word? And I'm not just saying Mexicans only because it's Afro Mexicans, okay? But again, that's a different topic because the dark skin, medium dark skin numbers of Afro Mexicans get treated bad by numbers of ones that look like white Hispanics. I don't want to go on that one, but I want to make this point. The Aztecs were the last great civilization of pre-Mexico. First of all, the Aztecs wouldn't even call Mexico Mexico. They didn't call themselves Aztecs are not Mexicans. Just like the Toltecs are not Mexicans. The Mixtecs were not Mexicans. The Mayans were not Mexicans. If they were Mexicans, they would call themselves Mexicans. You don't call someone a Aztec Mexican. That don't even sound right. You don't call someone a Toltec Mexican. That don't even sound right. You don't hear to the Aztecs, the Toltecs, the what's the hell I just said the word Aztecs, the Toltecs, the Mayans. Mayans don't call themselves Mexicans. You see this ridiculous nonsense, and you do have certain ones within certain Mexican populations that will say, "Oh, we are Aztecs." No, you're not. Oh, we are some Toltec. No, you're not. We're Mayan. No, you're not. Well, I make this point again. I'm not sticking to just saying Mexicans because there are some good Mexicans out there. I'm relaying to the point when I get to I'm gonna read you something on this, okay? But it's ridiculous how you got personnel, not just certain numbers of Mexicans. There are various other Hispanic groups that know who they are. The ones who know that break border immigration laws, knowing they doing it and knowing they doing it for a reason, and it is allowed to do this because supremacy knows. Let me show you what supremacy knows. It means the finishing off of the overall amount of American Black culture that would not go past half a generation to one generation left. And even when you relate information over about reality, this is what certain people do sometimes.
Sorry, Kevin Bacon wasn't in Footloose. What? Of course he was. No, he wasn't. You lose. Of course he was. He was the star. Nope, you're wrong. Look it up. I don't have to look it up. It's common knowledge. He was on the cover of People magazine when the movie. Everyone knows Kevin Bacon was a star of Footloose. It was a huge movie. He was the lead. No.
Now, that was kind of funny to me when I see that because even with reality-based information, you get some people, even with the American Black culture, that'll still be gullible, and that's on however numbers of that segment because there's still that few percent of exceptions American blacks that are not falling for nonsensical behavior. And this is why, again, half a generation, one generation left, the remaining surviving American blacks will be like cultural POWs. So, getting to this particular topic of illegal alien immigrant, he had many other border breakers in a stash house. Let me read you something. This is in Houston, Texas. I'm just going to paraphrase some things. And it said unlawful, which means illegal immigrant alien, illegal alien immigrant, uh, who is a present Honduran national. He was sentenced May the 2nd to 41 months in federal prison for operating a stash house in Southwest Houston, where officials found basically up to 97 other border breakers. Let me put that last part where officials found basically up to almost 100 border breaking illegal immigrants personnel in a stash house in Houston, Texas in April of 2021. They said this particular person is 34 years old, again, border breaking, an Honduran national. He was sentenced to 41 months in prison for conspiracy to harbor unlawful other border breaker illegal immigration personnel. They say he pleaded guilty to these charges on May the 24th, 2022. And he is expected to be placed in removal proceedings following his incarceration. How this began, they said there was an investigation on around April the 30th, 2021, when authorities learned of a kidnapping. Okay. There was a woman reported that she had paid smugglers several $1,000s to bring her brother into the country. Huh. So they say if this woman was a border breaker too as well. So if she wasn't, she's still guilty of harboring, like trying to get her brother in the country, then she would have been harboring an illegal immigrant personnel, which makes her guilty. Or say, for instance, if she was a border breaker illegal immigration personnel, then she needs to be deported. Golly, this is ridiculous. And Sarah, remember how this stuff they put in American black personnel's overall mindset and numbers of personnel within the country. Oh, they're just coming to sit there and do the jobs of other people and do bull banana peel. What what was going on before border breakers? We're picking food. We're picking vegetables. We're doing the farming. American blacks were already doing this before then. So people can go to hell with that. And not all illegal immigrant personnel are out there in a darn field picking fruit and vegetables. That's a whole different topic in itself, which is a dang lie that needs to be called out. Not all illegal immigrant personnel are doing that. God, man, it's a game. It's ridiculous. That this stuff's still allowed to be told, that lie. But continuing, but again, where did she get thousands of darn dollars from? But they're supposed to be some poor coming across the border. Where they get $1,000 to sit there and help send back over there to whatever family members to break border immigration laws, but they supposed to be poor, right? What another game in itself. There are unfortunately quite a number of millions of American blacks, with few exceptions, still don't understand the game on that. And who's going to pay the price? Numbers of American black youth overall, because they're not going to have half a generation, one generation left, unfortunately. But continuing, uh, so they talk about how she had paid smugglers several $1,000s to bring her brother into the country illegally. However, the smugglers demanded money to release him and threatened to harm him if the money was not paid. Excuse me. They talk about how basically close to 90, about I'm close to 100 border breaking. See, he plays little word switchery tactic. They said unlawfully present non-citizens. If American blacks sit there went across that border and said they did the same thing, do you think they would call them unlawfully present non-citizens? They would call them illegal. Leave, boy, this is silliness. So they talked about how basically almost 100 border breakers, illegal immigrant personnel, were crammed into two small rooms of a stash house. They talked about how one of the border breakers being held in the stash house was told if the money was not paid, he will be put in 4-inch pieces of wood, whatever that's supposed to mean. During a hearing, they talk about how there was evidence that detailed the stash house inhumane conditions. Again, trickery based word. What about American blacks that are being treated inhumane every freaking darn day, or racial racism terrorism toward them? See, it's this mentality that's ridiculous that numbers of American blacks don't even realize how insulting this is. That you got more people in this country that feel more for border breakers than American blacks. You know, numbers of American blacks talking reparations, and you got numbers of person from predominant culture saying, I ain't got anything to do with slavery, but same time, you say, well, what about those people called Native Americans? Did you have anything to do with removing them? Oh no. Oh, so you foolish little dinosaur poop tail type person. You ain't got a problem with numbers of them getting reparations. Oh well. See, they can go to hell with that game, right? Go to hell with that game. And you talking about all these different type of daily border breaking illegal immigration personnel, breaking border immigration laws, pro open border entities, however political personnel, etc., 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 sitting there want more border breakers come across the border. And then it's this that other game with saying seek asylum. And it's not about the ones that have true seeking asylum. But when you have people that just every day, daily, coming with the same word terminology, you know that's a game in itself. Where is the sympatheticness for American black pain every day? Where is that at? Golly. So they talked about how now there were some other different border breakers that also were sentenced. But I just wanted to talk about this one in particular as well. So it was just this person was an Honduran national. He was a border breaker in America with some other border breakers, and they were hiding other border breakers. And how much money did they pay the coyotes or the smugglers to get them across the border? And say, what about the ones every day that are not caught? Right? That come across that border. Not fast how they go straight wherever they need to go, whatever vehicle, whatever transportation, and are never seen again. And sitting there buying a time when however certain people within certain higher ups when there's just amount of time for they do another major immigration amnesty program. If they knew it wasn't going to be that way, they wouldn't keep trying to break border immigration laws. And remember, for the people who don't know, the three largest populations in America for centuries was what we call Native Americans, whatever that's supposed to mean. you had numbers of personnel with predominates culture, and you had American blacks. Those are the three largest populations. Asians wouldn't even been on the radar for most people because for centuries they made up a minuscule amount of numbers of people. So the conversation wouldn't even be like that in the major darn way. It really wouldn't. Don't let people try to play games with all those exclusion acts. Go to hell with that game plan, right? People came here voluntarily. The majority of American blacks did not. Play the game with somebody else on that, which is a different topic in itself. Now the American blacks have dropped to the fourth largest population. Excuse me. They see three large populations were what we call Native Americans, numbers of personnel with predominant culture, the American blacks, and the Asians or Hispanics that rounded off. Now it is numbers of personnel with a predominant culture. Now it's Hispanics that make up the second largest population. Now it's the third. So American blacks were the second largest population and we're getting black pain. Now they and then getting no reparations, then getting the anti-black laws and stuff like that, like they've given the Asian personnel, right? And now American blacks are the third largest population. What the heck you think going to continue to keep having black American blacks overall now when they've given them numbers of Asian personnel a anti-Asian law? What an insult! And there are good numbers of Asian personnel out there, so it's not about that. And there are some bad Asian people that can't stand American blacks, so go to hell with that game. Just like there are certain numbers of Hispanics that are good, there are certain numbers of bad Hispanics that can't stand American blacks, so go to hell with that game. And numbers of American blacks don't understand what is happening now and what is going to finish off the American blacks overall on that. It is going to happen on that. And they are going to use numbers of border breakers as well to finish off even more the American blacks. Again, where's all these border breaker illegal immigration personnel going? Thousands weekly, thousands never get caught. And how many of their numbers of women are popping out child after child after child, automatic citizenship, which is supposed to be done for American blacks about a 14th Amendment Constitution and border breakers and however other people, immigration personnel, parentheses, giggle, giggle, or sitting there laughing at American blacks as well. Because the same type of game could not, American blacks can't run to all different countries and play that game. They ain't gonna let them do it. So you got personnel popping out child to child, anchoring, which means the anchor babies, right? Because they know already once that baby overall is born and becomes American citizen, that means that it's more difficult for them to get deported. And they know this. And that goes to numbers of immigration personnel too. Who they know who they are. They pop that child out. They know they more anchored as well. It's a whole different game. Whole different game that American blacks overall don't even realize with few exceptions. So I just kind of want to go over that particular topic in itself. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.